So my name is Ture Dahl Børglum, and I'm from Endomondo. Oh yeah, thanks. I've been with Endomondo since the early days. Joined the company in 2008 when there was about, I don't know, 2,000 or 3,000 users. They had a really great idea. Nobody was using smartphones, at least not to run well. So we had a kind of a difficult case on convincing people that, okay, it's really smart to take your phone running, because there's like 5 phones with a GPS in it right now, and we believe this is the future. And people said, this is stupid, you are idiots, you're gonna be out of money very shortly. But I joined the company, actually I was still studying at CBS, the growth school at that point, and they were just the founders, and they had a technical guy, and then they kind of had no money, they didn't get paid, but they could afford a student worker, and that was me. So that's basically how I joined the company. How many knows Endomondo? Do I have to explain what we do? That's pretty much all of you. How many have tried our app? A great deal. That's nice to see. Right now we have about 1.4 million users in Denmark, so that's like every 4th Dane have registered at our website or our app. So that's pretty good reach in Denmark, I would say. First off, I'm going to talk about like Endomondo is a business-to-consumer product, and I would say, of course, no two kind of these apps or consumer products are alike, but there should be some takeaways that you can learn from. Then I'm going to go through some things about the early days, how we grew in the early days. Basically, I'm a product guy. I would say I don't know a lot about growth hacking, but we did a lot of trial and error, and I guess 6 years ago you didn't call it growth hacking, we just kind of trial and error, and then we'll see. And today I guess we maybe know something about growth hacking. And then, yeah, I'm going to talk about when we got wiser and kind of what we're doing a little bit more today. One of the things we found out in the beginning was that we were trying to do this sports tracking app. And we said, okay, we want to do an app for kind of unite people so they can run around the world and compete together and challenge others and be in a running group. And like we had a lot of plans about what we wanted to do, but kind of we pretty fast found out that, okay, it's not about what we think our users should be doing or why they should use our service or what we would like them to do. It's about kind of what do people use our service or app for. In the beginning, we tried to explain this big vision of how people should exercise. And then we found out, okay, people download our app because they want to go running. They want to download an app, press start, and then run. They don't care about having friends. They don't care about sharing their workouts and all that. So after a while, we've discovered, okay, don't try to sell this great idea of what we want to do. Kind of make it simple. Say what you do what you say, and make it super simple. And back then, we were kind of first movers within this market. I think there were 2 other apps doing the same. One of them in Runkeeper, an American business, and another one called Cardio Trainer, at least on some of the platforms. And Runkeeper are still really big, and we are kind of fighting to be the leaders here. But the other one, Cardio Trainer, they kind of lost track at some point, and they are doing some other health-oriented stuff now. But yeah, we don't see them anymore. But basically, in the early days, we tried a lot of different things to grow and like different ways. How can we spread our message? We went to Sparta runs, kind of handing out flyers and download this app and do a lot of this and try to go to other events. And it kind of helped a little bit, and we got a little bit of PR in the kind of some after show or something like that. That kind of gave some small spikes in the user growth, but it didn't really kind of take off. It was kind of always a small bump, and then it went back. Then in 2011, we kind of had, in 2010 we launched a paid app. We first had a free app, but in 2011 we launched a paid app, which was a one-off app for about, I think it was $2.99. Basically, we priced it around a cup of coffee. Kind of, it should be something that people say, okay, I buy coffee every day, so I might as well also buy this app because it could help me run. And within the first year, we kind of had about 53,000 downloads of our paid app, which we thought that was kind of cool, but we didn't get rich from that. But one thing we noticed was that kind of it was a lot of our free users that kind of, after trying the free app for a while, they downloaded the paid app because it had some extra features and they were kind of donating to us and say, what you guys are doing is really cool. But it didn't really take off, except that we got really good ratings in the App Store on our paid app. And for a long time, we had been kind of trying to contact Google and Apple and say, we are these super cool guys doing this great running cycling app. Can we get featured or something like that? We kind of knew that, okay, the App Store is where people notice you. And of course, they kind of never answered our emails. But at some point, in the end of 2011, Google was close to having their 1 billion app downloads in the Android Market Store, it was called back then. And out of the blue, Google wrote us and said, hey, we can see you are one of the cool health and fitness apps in that category, in the category called health and fitness. And we want to promote 10 really cool apps that does something with health and fitness for this 1 billion downloads deal. And we said, great, finally. They're talking to us, and then they said, okay, what we will do is we will promote your app for 24 hours, 2 times within a week, or within 10 days or something like that. And we will also lower the price of the app. So from $2.99, it will go down to 10 cents. And like, this was the only revenue we got back then, but we said, okay, hell yeah, whatever Google can do to promote us, let's do it. And then because Google kind of sent out these, like when you open the Google Play Store, it recommends some app and stuff like that, and they said, this is the best running app out there. Then people just say, hell yeah, I'll download that. And then within those 48 hours, we got 282,000 downloads. And then we kind of figured, okay, we've been trying to do a bunch of stuff outside the app stores, and kind of it has given some small spikes, but it kind of didn't really take off, and we didn't really get it out. So we could kind of say, okay, we really need to do something in the app. So that is the place to be when you're a consumer app and you want new users. So the kind of the takeaway from that is kind of the key to growth as an app, as a consumer app, is app stores, app stores, app stores. And the 2 biggest ones is, of course, iTunes and Google Play. We've also been in, we are in Windows Phone, on Windows Phone in their marketplace, and we're also on BlackBerry, Apple World, I think it's called, and we've been on Nokia OV Store as well. But basically, these are the 2 key areas. Microsoft really wants us to do a lot on Windows Phone as well, and I hope that nobody here from Microsoft, but it's difficult to take them serious when they have so little market share. But one of the things we also kind of noticed was that our users really like to kind of refer other users to our app. Kind of some of them like to be social about it, or kind of just brag about what they were doing. And we didn't really have any good kind of referral or invite programs. Of course, you could do it, like type in an email or scan your email addresses or something like that, but it wasn't super intuitive, and it wasn't kind of in your face, kind of invite some people. But then when Facebook kind of launched their single sign-on, and kind of it was easier to make it possible to share on Facebook, we could see that a lot of users, or our users, were actually also on Facebook, so we were kind of fast at that. Okay, let's do this. We are a small team, we can easily implement this. And after we did it, I think 2 weeks after, something like that, Facebook contacted us and said, what are you guys doing? Like, we never heard of you, but you are kind of one of the top 40 kind of most used apps that use single sign-on and sharing. And we had no idea. It was kind of a little bit of a lucky guess, but we just thought this is kind of where our users want to be. So we took a gut feeling and went for it. And then it kind of that gave a spike as well, and we could see, okay, now we're in the loop with Facebook. Now we can kind of talk with them about what can help us grow in that sense. And that really helped with the referrals as well. But basically, kind of going into more growth hacking, kind of what you can do now these days is all these like ranking algorithms and on Google Play and iTunes. Nobody really knows kind of how it is exactly. Of course, it's a very secret, but a lot of different apps have tested it out, and there's a lot of things that take into place in stores for the last couple of hours, the last week. Reviews and ratings, and kind of post stars, and kind of what people are saying, how engaged people are and all that. And kind of we try to look at some of these things, and kind of the green ones I highlighted up here is the ones where we can do something we believe. Like reviews. Okay, you want people to review you. That's clear. But when do you want people to review you? That's basically when kind of they have a good experience with your apps. You don't want to kind of just all the time to just say review me. Please give us a good review in the App Store. So kind of what we have found out that we have kind of made this what we call a happy user program. That we go in and see, okay, when are people kind of active and using our app a lot and doing some different things where we believe, okay, this is actually a user that is really engaged with our app. They are kind of commenting on other users' activities. They are doing a lot of workouts. And then once in a while, kind of, you can see the reviews go down if we had kind of a release where it's kind of had some issues, so there was some crashes. Then we need to get the reviews up. We can kind of activate this happy user program. And then we notify a lot of users that are active and, hey, do you mind reviewing us again? It's been some time since you did it. And then, yeah, they're happy, so they'll do that. And you can also kind of say, like in the app, we also have in the menu where you always have in the bottom of our kind of our overall menu where you can give us a 1 to 5 star rating, where we just say give us some feedback, where the user can type in some feedback for us, and then we have a support team kind of going through this feedback, and they can also give 1 to 5 stars. And if people give us a 4 or 5 stars, we say thank you very much. Do you mind kind of sharing your good experience with other people on the app stores? So we direct people to the app stores that way as well. I think title and keywords, if you do apps, you know these are super important. And kind of just from changing our app name from Endomondo Sports Tracker, it was called for 4 years, to Endomondo Running, Cycling, Walking, Workout Tracker with GPS and maps, kind of crazy name. But the thing is, like Apple don't like when apps do this. But the thing is, the title is so damn important. So kind of the more keywords you can put into the title, the better. But you cannot kind of keyword spam. It needs to make sense. So you need to make kind of a sentence that describes your app, and that also helped for us. And yeah, basically this has been our growth over the years. Maybe I should just go back. Like localization is actually also up here, which for us is very important because only about 7% of our user base is in Denmark. So we have people from, I don't know, 180 countries or something like that. Like we grew 400% in layers last year. We have not done anything in layers. I have no idea why it happened, but it's very interesting. So something happened there, so we kind of see, okay, we need to kind of localize our app. So it is in 20 languages on Android, 15 on iPhone. And it's not only the kind of the language in the app, it's also the app description, the keywords, the naming, everything you do about it. So that can really help you grow in other countries as well. But yeah, this is kind of the growth we've had over the years, and it's been pretty steady. In the beginning, it's kind of the first million was a tough go, but then it started taking off. And actually, if you look at this, you can see that we have a few small bumps. Where is the light? Oh, there's some small bumps here and up here. This is actually seasonality, that in October, November, people get lazy, it's cold weather outside, so they don't want to do anything. But then right around New Year's, there's a spike because New Year's resolution, yeah, I'm gonna do a lot of activity, and that will last for exactly 14 days. And then people forget about the New Year's resolution. So we're doing a lot kind of to say, okay, how can we kind of retain users? They have the kind of the positive flow about I want to exercise for the first 14 days, but kind of how can we retain them after the first 14 days? So the last thing I will kind of talk about is only briefly. When you talk about growth, it's not only about kind of getting users or downloads and stores or what it is. It's also kind of activating people, and you kind of need to ask yourself, what do I know about my users or the people who use my service? And we kind of try to measure a lot of metrics, but I just picked out 2 now that we kind of know that within the first week when someone downloads our app, I think one thing that's common for everybody is that they need to get it right away. They need to know what is this app about and what can I use it for. And then we can kind of see that within the first 48 hours, we need 2 people to go out and running. And I think in our case, it's a little bit rare. Than most apps, you need to use it right away if it's a game or some other app. But sometimes people download our app and they don't have their running clothes on. So if they kind of talk with a friend at a Friday bar, they're not going to go running there. But hopefully within the next 48 hours, we want them to go running. And people have kind of habits of exercising, like have a plan for a week. So I'm going to run every Sunday or something like that. So we need to make sure that the second workout is within 7 days, and then make sure they stay on that pattern. And also the social part, that if they have 3 friends, they are twice as likely to stay with us and stay active. So kind of ask yourself, kind of what do I know about my users? And if you don't know what you know about users, that's fine, but investigate, figure out, so you can kind of dig into some things. Yeah. And that's basically it. But just a last quote here, don't think too much about building a big fancy product. Just say, okay, I need to build something that's simple, get it out there. It's better with with half a product than a half-assed product. I think yeah, that was it.